What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today we got a long day today. So this is going to be Love and Marriage Huntsville. So today so you guys can expect a lot of videos today. We got Love and Marriage Huntsville, Love and Marriage DC, The Shy, P Valley, the BET Awards, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Love Match Atlanta season finale. So we got a lot of stuff today, but this is going to be Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 4, you guys. This is episode 15. The episode is titled Old Atlanta, New Tricks, you guys. So before we go ahead and jump into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and are not subscribed, I'm going to need you guys to do me that solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on those post notifications, and also by sharing the video, you guys. And with that out the way, without further ado, let's discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? So you guys, we are still in Atlanta, and I'm kind of confused as to why we're still in Atlanta. And then we see Martel with this wine tasting. And now when Martel threw that jacket on, and I saw that fur or fox or whatever that was that went across his shoulder, I was like, bitch, what in the hell does Martel have on? Martel looked like he is getting ready for his first drag show that he's ever going to in his life. So we see, again, it's a bunch of women there, but we do see some men sprinkled in, and we see the guys. We see Chris Fletcher is there. We see the other guy that Martel is doing business with. He's there. I forget what his name is. Fred. That's his name. So Chris Fletcher is there and Fred is there. So, and also Martel's Uncle Sam is there. So now here's my thing, because I saw a lot of people on social media last night saying that Martel's Uncle Fred was doing the most. And I want you guys to tell me in the comment section if you guys think that Uncle Fred was doing the most. I will tell you right now, if you say Uncle Fred was doing the most, my opinion is going to differ a lot from you guys, because I disagree that Uncle Fred was doing the most in that scene. I think Uncle Fred was just being real. And I get it. So most people don't have it to speak publicly, have it in them to speak publicly. I'm one of those people that I'm not a public speaker. I have stage fright. I have stage fright, and even if y'all have noticed on this camera, sometimes I stutter. And I have a stutter. So I do stutter when I talk. And when I'm nervous, it gets, oh my God, that is beautiful. I'm sorry, you guys. In this parking garage of my old apartment complex, I mean, I don't know what color blue it is. Actually, it's the same color as my cap. A blue Dodge Challenger came out. If you know me, I love a Challenger. I want me a Challenger. It was so pretty. I wish I could have shown you guys, but I can't. But public speaking, back to that. I get it. Like I said, I stutter. When I get nervous, I stutter. It's the word. It's horrible. It's horrible. So I have to, like when I was in college, especially in my last semester of college, there was this class called How to Get a Job, where the teacher, my professor, she taught you how to, redo your resume. She would prepare you for interviews, and there would be select students that, if you wanted to be a part of it, actually no, I think it was all of us. It was all of us. But it actually was all of us, because the class was very small. My class was small. So they took us to the Goodwill, and they, let us look at clothes. They let us look at some clothes to prepare for an interview. And then at the end of the semester, we actually did real life interviews with companies in my hometown, and they could offer you a job right then and there when you graduated college or not, But my professor, she talked to me, because I told her, I'm like, I have a stutter. When I get nervous, I stutter. And she told me the thing to do is, when you have a speech or anything that you're going to give, rehearse before you do it. So that way, you're not really just reading from a paper. You have that information up here, and you look at your paper as a guide to help you. So it's not real. And I think that would help Martel if he just wrote something out and prepared himself for it instead of just trying to wing it. Because him winging that speech, I mean, he kept saying shit, 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 shit. I'm like, Martel has nothing to say. And I got Uncle Sam's frustration with Martel. Because number one, Martel called up all the guys. He called up Maurice, Marcel, Big Lou, Fred, and Chris. But this wine is named after his mother. You didn't say, oh, hey, my Uncle Sam is here. Come on, Uncle Sam. Like, you got something you want to say about this wine that's named after his mother. Martel didn't do that at all. And I was just like, really, Martel? So Martel and Melnika, they were talking. And then, Martel went to talk to Uncle Sam. And Uncle Sam was like, he was pissed. And Martel gonna go in and say, don't do this. We on national television. Don't do it. And Uncle Sam was like, bruh, you good. And I was with Uncle Sam like, Martel, you are good. You want to talk about you on national television, but you've done work. You have embarrassed yourself a lot worse than this. So I was on Uncle Fred's side because, like I said, Martel could have called up Uncle Sam. He could have called Uncle Sam up. He could have. And so he was talking about, we drink other people's shit. We eat other people's shit. We wear other people's shit. We drive other people's shit. Marcel. I get what he was saying. I get what Martel was saying. Martel could have said it a completely different way than what he said. Martel could have said, we consume, we as African Americans, we don't really have a lot that we can say is ours because we consume, we're consumers. So we buy a lot of products that are not, made and owned by African Americans. We don't eat at a lot of places that are not black owned. He could have ran down that bucket list and said, you know what? And when I was thinking about this, with this wine, I was thinking like, damn, we don't have anything that is solely ours that we can say is a black owned business, a black owned product. And so what I decided to do was I decided to make this wine. And when I was thinking about the name of the wine, I said, you know what? Let me honor my grandmother by naming this wine after an amazing woman that I knew. He could have said something like that, but he didn't. And I get it. We all know Martel is not the best with words, but he could have practiced. I think that's what Martel could have at least just practiced something. He could have practiced something. And then we got Hotel, because when Uncle Sam was like, where he leaving? I'm leaving. So Martel, in typical Martel fashion, he just started screaming at the top of his damn lungs. I was like, Martel, calm down, buddy. Calm down. And then you got Maurice. He's talking to the guys. I think Chris Fletcher was on Uncle Sam's side, but Maurice was defending Martel. And I can play devil's advocate. I can. I've been playing devil's advocate. I can see both sides of the coin. Martel might not just be good with his words, and that could have been what the situation was. But he could have at least acknowledged his grandmother in some kind of a way, because that's what Uncle Sam was like. That's my mama, man. Like, that's my mama. And I got his point, and I got his frustration. I got it. I definitely did understand it. But let me know what you guys thought about it. We're going to pause here and we're going to move forward, you guys. Y'all, like, no parts of me wants to discuss Tiffany and Lewis, because when it comes to Tiffany and Lewis, I just don't understand what's real and what's fake when it comes to Tiffany and Lewis. So the guys, when they left Atlanta, Martel told Maurice and Marceau that Lewis had already left because there was a family emergency that he had to get back home to. So we found out that when he got back, that him and Tiffany are getting ready to go to Birmingham because there was a death in the family. So my condolences for that one. So then they talk about the trip to Atlanta. And again, I just don't know what's real and what's not with Tiffany and Lewis. Last season, y'all were the perfect couple. But this season, y'all got so many issues. And then it seems like the issues stem from Tiffany. But Tiffany is also the same one who surprised him with a wedding. I'm confused. So then he's talking about the focus group and the women that were at the focus group, and it seemed like Tiffany got in her feelings, and I'm like, but you were okay with him. Oh, you know what? I can't with these two. Then he talked about going to the rage room. She had a problem with that, talking about what his issue was. And it's not like this man said, hey, let me find a rage room to go to so I can let out my frustrations about not having sex with my wife. You guys, I honestly couldn't care any less than I already don't about Tiffany and Lewis. So I'm gonna move on. So next up, we see Maurice, we see Kimmi, we see Latisha and Marcel. And the bulk that I got from this situation, Maurice is just as messy as the women. I couldn't be married. If I was a woman, I could not be married to anything in Huntsville that has the last name of Scott and it's a man. I couldn't. Because they are. At one point, I thought Maurice was a good one, a good Scott brother. But now, when I look at the more and more I look at Maurice, no, Maurice just masks his shit. That's the only difference between Maurice and Marceau and that other one whose name I refuse to say. Maurice just actually he ain't even masking it no more, because they talk in riddles and they talk in circles. So they're talking about Melnika inviting. Well, actually, Maurice has to let Kimmi know that Martel said that Melnika is the original Mel. I was like, oh, okay. Was that called for? I don't really think it was, but hey. So they're talking about going to the strip club. You know how Maurice is when Kimmi asks him a question. He talks around the mulberry bush. He again, him and his brother, they're the same. They answer a question in a question formed as a riddle. And I don't know how that's even possible. They answer the question with a question, but the question is also a riddle. So you got to figure out what the fuck they're saying. Man, I couldn't. I really, really couldn't. Then they talk about Big Lewis and his issues with Tiffany and not having sex. I don't give a damn, because I just question it. Like, y'all are a year into marriage, 2 years at this point. Why are y'all not fucking like animals? Like, you're in the honeymoon phase of your marriage, and y'all ain't getting it popping like a semi-automatic. I don't get it. I truly don't get it. And then Marceau, when he was talking about, if sex is important to him, but it's not important to his spouse, he wouldn't be mad if you outsourced. Excuse me? Yeah, no. If it's important to me and you go and outsource it from someone else, we got an issue, especially if we ain't agreed to that. If we didn't make an agreement to that, then we got an issue. Here's my thing when it comes down to things that are important in your marriage. You have to have those discussions. Like, discuss what is a deal. Like, you need to talk about what's a deal breaker and what's not a deal breaker. Like, because you see a lot of people who get married, when they get married, they say they don't want to have kids, but then one person be like, well, I actually thought about it and I actually do want kids, and the other person is not gonna budge. Like, you gotta sit down and have these conversations. But again, like I said, with the Scott brothers, I could not. Ain't no way in the hot, holy hell could I see myself as a woman marrying anything in Huntsville, Alabama with the last name of Scott, and it is a male with a penis in between its legs. Absolutely not. I would be like, who are your parents? Oh, my daddy is Marceau. Oh, goodbye. We ain't got nothing to talk about. I really couldn't. So, you guys, I'm going to pause here and move forward. So, next up, you guys, let's talk about Latisha. So, Latisha went to go see Dr. Francis. I know Dr. Francis got to be like, God damn, here come this idiot every time Latisha comes. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Latisha, but does Latisha not listen to herself what does Latisha think when she watches these scenes back and listens to herself talk? Because you sound ignorant. So I do feel bad for the fact that Latisha is talking about that she doesn't know who she is. You know, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a God-fearing woman. But then I had to look in the mirror and be like, who is Latisha? And we had to have, it got down to some snotty crying. Okay, Latisha. So you don't know, and we know that Latisha doesn't know who she is outside of being a mother and this marriage to Marcel because of his antiquated, what he believes, marriage should be. So I'm not surprised by that, but it's just really sad to hear it that she doesn't know what her identity is. Like, I wonder who Latisha would be had she never met Marcel and had she never got married to him and had kids. Like, I wonder what her identity would have been, because it seems like her identity is so wrapped up in being her kid's mother and Marcel's wife. Like, I really do wonder who she would be and where she would be in her life if she didn't marry him. And I don't think she even knows that question. Cause I mean, didn't they meet each other in college? Like, I feel bad for her. But then when the more she kept talking, it's just like, oh my God, Latisha, please stop talking. Please stop talking. So she says that Marcel wants to help her get to where she wants to be. Congratulations. I hope he's telling you the truth. So then she talked about, Marcel's depression last year. That nigga was not going through a depression. That nigga was just gassing y'all's asses up. So then she talks about him going on that trip to Africa. And that's when Dr. Francis looked at her like, a trip to Africa? Where were you? Oh, I was here with the kids. I couldn't just go. I had to worry about, the dogs being taken care of, daycare, all this kind of stuff. And I'm just sitting there to myself like, oh, what an idiot, girl. Like, do you realize? Just listen to how stupid you sound. And I don't mean to call her stupid, but this is stupid. You don't even have to have a degree. You don't have to have you just have to have common sense to think about it. Huntsville, Alabama, which is in the United States of America. Tanzania, which is on a continent of Africa. That is about, how long does it take to get to? It takes at least a day or two to get to Africa, right? It's a 15 to 20, I think that's like 15 to 20 hours to get. It's almost a day that it takes to get to Africa. So you mean then you have, oh God, Latisha, I be wanting to be on your side, so sometimes I just really want to be on your side, but in this instance I just cannot be on your side. You talking about Marcel as a last minute person. Okay. Last minute would be, a last minute trip is Marcel going to Atlanta. That's last minute. Last minute is Marcel coming to Dallas. Last minute is Marcel going to Houston. Last minute is Marcel going to New York. Last minute is Marcel going to Miami. Last minute is Marcel going to Charleston, North Carolina. South Carolina, whichever one it is. Last minute is going to Charleston. Last minute is going to Tennessee. Last minute is going to Colorado. Last minute is going anywhere within the United States. Because if you got the means and the money, you can do it. Because you don't have to worry about currency exchange. You don't have to worry about none of that kind of shit. All you got to worry about is booking your flight, booking your hotel, and what you're going to do when you get there. Booking a trip to fucking Africa, that takes some planning. It is not cheap to fly to fucking Africa. So girl, that was not a last minute trip. And Dr. Francis was looking at her like that, like, what are you talking about last minute? And he told her it wasn't last minute. There's a lot of planning and preparation that goes into going to fucking Africa. You got to find your passport. You got to book. You got to think about a lot of things when you go to Africa. Because again, number one, currency. Number two, how long it takes to get to Africa. Okay, Latisha. Marcel was last minute, but Marcel was last minute in telling yo ass he was going to Africa. Marcel already had that trip to Africa fucking planned. If you don't see that, you're a fool. You are a fool. So Dr. Francis then tells Latisha that he and his wife, they do a couples retreat, and he wants to invite her and her friends. Good luck with that. Martel and this thing with his mama, I didn't really give a fuck about it. I couldn't care less. That, you know, his mama didn't understand why his uncle got mad, because that's his mother. They were talking about the grandmother and how, you know, she, listening to him talk about his grandmother, it sounds just like my grandmother. So I empathize. I know how that feels to lose the head of your family. I know how that feels. That's all I gotta say for it. Then we see Mel and Kimmi meet up. So when Mel and Kimmi met up, with Mel, it literally does give the vibe that Mel wants everyone to be where she is. It gives the vibe. I'm not saying that's what she wants. I'm just saying it gives the vibe. That's what she wants, because she's talking to Kimmi about Maurice going to Atlanta with Martel. Just because Martel is a cheater doesn't mean that everybody else's husband is a cheater. Now, when it comes to this group of men, do I think do I think birds of a feather flock together? Allegedly. I will say that. But like I said, just because your husband cheated on you doesn't mean that the other women's husbands are cheating on them. Then they talk about Melnika, and Melody knows Melnika. Melnika was her wedding planner. She quit a week or two before her wedding, and Melnika was saying that Martel was cheating on her. She didn't listen to it. She was 22 years old, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, you guys. But let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Please drop down in the comment section and let me know what you thought about the episode. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications. Also, share the video. And until the next time, you guys, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I will see you guys later. Bye.